I know. I'm on it.
It's like my taint.
All right. We are live in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the Smut Studio in Venice Beach, California, with my co-host, Joey. No chill, Prano.
Hello, Andy. Super Bowl Monday.
That's right, Joe. How you feeling?
I feel okay. I feel decent. Rough night's sleep, but otherwise a generally productive and enjoyable weekend. I went to Dano's for the Super Bowl last night. That was an interesting event. He set us up in his garage. Dano Carter, who
Yeah.
runs Ponchos down in Manhattan Beach. He lives with his girlfriend now in Manhattan Beach. They have a great spot. They set up a Super Bowl party in their garage,
Okay.
which was fun. Open air out to the street. A little chilly, a little breezy last night down by the beach. They're only a couple blocks off the beach, but all in all, a good time. One thing I've noticed about Super Bowl parties, and this is sort of you guys didn't deal with this, I'm sure, because it was just the two of you over here.
Yeah. Just being
Everybody
there.
raises their level. When you get too many people in a room, the volume goes up, and I just hate that. It's like
Yeah.
you can have a conversation with just a person next
Yeah.
to you. Like everybody's always screaming. So
Yeah.
much yelling going on. I feel like I'm just turning into old man. Everybody be quiet.
Well, that's what I wanted. I actually really had an enjoyable Super Bowl experience. It was just me and my buddy,
Your son.
my son. I've also called my dog. I've called him a lot of things.
I feel like he's your stepson. I feel like you're like a youngish stepdad. You're banging his mom, and but you guys are like a lot closer in age, and you guys have this special it's like it's somewhere between father and son and like older brother younger brother situation.
How would you describe our relationship, Nick?
The other day, I said, I never grew up with an older brother, and I referred to you as my brother. And then we come back here, and then you kick me off your bed and call me your dog. And I just feel disrespected.
I'm sorry. well, at this point, Joe has recommended that we have a 24-hour camera, multiple cameras.
Well, you guys are trying. I know there's a lot of like content creation going on. This is a content farm over here, and it's a lot of like, well, what if like going to Costco is a thing? What if like barbecuing is a thing? And every time I talk to either one of you guys, the stories of just the day-to-day of you guys hanging out in this apartment together, way more interesting than fucking shopping at Costco. I'm like, I need a couple of GoPros in the corner of this room. This is the true big brother because you're basically his big brother.
Yeah.
I just need 24/7, and then at the end of every day, when you go to bed at 11 p.m. from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. when he goes to bed, he can cut it all into the daily Big Brother show. The two of you guys, working out your masturbation schedules and who's sleeping where and the dietary issues. I mean,
So this is like Truman Show.
yeah, exactly.
We have caught each other. Have we both caught each other naked now?
Yes, I walked into the bathroom when you were pooping at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night, was it?
I don't know. It was a middle of the night. I had to get up and take a dump.
See, I know you've talked a lot about like you're not sure how long you're going to Savage Town. Like there's been a lot of talk of you moving, to the marina, wherever. And, Nick's sort of here on a temporary basis, sleeping at my place, sleeping on your couch. I think this move, whatever your next move is, you have to be planning for Nick to live with you.
Oh.
Like I almost think like a one plus bedroom, like one of those one bedrooms with an office, and put him in like the dog room. Like I need this relationship to continue.
Well, you've been hinting at these lofts a little bit, because for the extra headspace and room, right?
Yeah. Are you hearing that? Is that just me?
Hearing what?
Close that window. The wind. It's picking up all the wind. This is wild.
Windy day out here
it's
in
very windy.
Venice, California.
It's picking it all up.
It's blowing directly into the thing. You can leave it partially open if you need.
We'll edit this out of the podcast.
Thanks, Nick. I like it. I'm not against it. If you guys haven't seen, we're doing a weekly Andy Goes to Costco. And Nick is great at editing it. And the first video was me Super Bowl shopping. And what's going to happen this week? Who knows? That's why
How did your Super Bowl shopping, like, how did that play out? Like, when you got back here for Super Bowl, you guys had Super Bowl yesterday. What did you eat? What did you drink? What was, I mean, I know what you drank. I'm assuming the official sponsor of the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Yeah, Miller Lite, of course. And we had some DiGiorno pizza.
Nice.
Really simple. Smoked a joint. Shout out to Matthew
Villalobos?
Villalobos.
Villalobos.
Dirtball.
House of the Wolf.
So Dirtball.
Matthew, House of the Wolf.
So Dirtball. Matthew. Say it again.
Villalobos.
He dropped us off an 18-pack of Miller Lite and a couple of Venice Kush joints.
Yeah, some medical, some medical cannabis for all of your medical needs.
So I told Nick I didn't want to deal with anybody. People were trying to come over. I'll be honest. I kind of basically
Who
said,
was trying to come over that you shot down?
well, just people were like, "What are you doing?" And I told the mayor, I was like, "Dude, I don't want to deal with anybody." It's funny when people don't understand when I don't want to deal with people. I'm going to start just being honest with people. I kind of was yesterday. Like, I don't want anybody coming over here. I don't want to go to someone's place.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed watching the game. I enjoyed watching the commercials, watching the halftime show. I mean, it was just a quiet night or quiet day.
Yeah, it was different than your typical go to a party, and that's kind of something to adjust to. But it was nice. This is my first time watching the Super Bowl on cable in 4 years now without a delay or anything. So you're just up to date on Twitter.
You usually watch what, streaming?
Well, I haven't had cable. I've been in college for the past 4
Right.
years. So yeah, you just stream off of like Reddit or something like that.
When
Hope
you're
you
in
don't
college,
get a virus.
when you're in college, don't they just have like basic, like plug into the wall in your dorm room basic?
No,
Really?
no,
Wow.
not anymore.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we took it easy here, and I enjoyed it because I got to watch. It's kind of like you were saying about the party. I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch the games, especially so we could talk about it here. I wanted to watch the commercials so I could actually have input.
I'm one of those guys when I'm even at a Super Bowl party, I think I have a look and a feel about me where or just especially if I'm at a Super Bowl party with friends who know me. They know I'm very into sports. They know I'm very into the game. So I didn't find myself in a lot of conversations I didn't want to be in. But at the same time, I'm the same way. Like, I would prefer to watch the game at home by myself or like with a couple people. My best Super Bowl memories are ones where I was watching at my apartment in Brooklyn back at the old 131. Have a handful of people come over. That way you can do food. You don't have to worry about you do chicken wings or whatever, but you don't have to worry about feeding 25 people with him.
Yeah.
It's easy to feed 6 people with pizza and wings. Also, I gotta come back at A. Millie. A. Millie came at me because last episode I said, the Super Bowl is a day for American fare. And I said, you're not eating pasta, you're eating pizza. He tried to call me out that pizza is like, pizza's just as Italian as pasta. It's like, come on, guy. Like, that's like saying hamburger's a German food. Like, I guarantee you we eat 50 times the amount of pizza here in America that they do in Italy. Like, there's a difference. I'm not talking about eating a fucking margarita pizza here. I'm talking about eating fucking Papa John's.
Yeah, it's something that's been Americanized.
Yeah.
For sure. No, but I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a great game. I enjoyed the whole day, to be honest.
Commercials, meh.
Well,
I feel like the commercial. I feel like the blueprint for commercials these days is like. I feel like we're just like rehashing the same thing as now. It's like, have an idea, put a big movie star or celebrity in that thing. It's like, what happened to the good old days where you just had like a great commercial idea that then went like, I mean, forget viral. I mean, remember pre-viral? Like, dude, they were making T-shirts that said like Budweiser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they had T-shirts that said, great taste, less filling.
Yeah.
They, you all think about all those commercials over the years that you didn't have to have fucking a celebrity, an A-lister being like, oh my God, is The Rock eating Papa John's?
Well, to me, it's not even about that. And I don't know if you saw my tweet. It's at this point, companies are trying to outwoke each other.
Yeah.
And I think they all missed the mark. I think a lot of these brands need to be more in touch. Like this whole thing.
I thought the Google commercial was really good. The one of reminding him that that was kind of sad. I actually thought one of the best commercials was the one where people were tackling the mascot to relieve their student loan debt, and somebody at the party was saying like, man, they got 5 people in here, and they're giving 5 people $25,000 of like student. I'm like, yeah. So they spent $200,000 on this commercial.
It was the Honda.
Yeah, I'm like, they spent $200,000 for giving people away instead of giving Bryan Cranston $5 million to hold a fucking can of Mountain Dew.
That was a funny commercial, though. The Cranston commercial I thought was funny, but again, this idea of them trying to just be so woke and we're so inclusive and we're including every race and every background and every gender and every sexuality, guys. We are more accepting than ever. We are. If you go outside, people are more. This idea of them trying to just shove it down everyone's throat. We, for the most part, I would say, just look at each other as humans.
The thing is these days is, again, when you look back at all the commercials I said in the past that sort of took off on their own, where it was just like a great commercial and people were talking about it at the water cooler after the Super Bowl. These days, companies aren't thinking about that because everything's about the internet. So when you have, they're all trying to go with the woke thing so that.
But that's not America.
But my point is so that the Twitter crowd all jumps in. And honestly, I think for a lot of brands, they don't give a shit if it's positive or negative. They just want people tweeting about it, one way or the other. They want people tweeting about it. They want to start some social media discussion. When honestly, I think they need to step back and have a macro view of the Super Bowl is watched by everybody, kids, adults, like every race, millions of countries, the whole thing,
every political sphere.
You should try to just be like if you're going to do a Super Bowl ad,
target everyone.
Don't worry about social media.
Be funny.
Again, worry about think about the water cooler. Think about like this conversation. I can't think of one Super Bowl commercial yesterday that's worth discussing right now.
I'm sure we're forgetting some.
What was the standout commercial? Again, that Google ad was pretty good. I thought that Google ad was like, that Google, it seems like every year is now like pulling at your heartstrings.
I mean, the best thing was the promo to start the game for the NFL 100 with the kid running in. That was the best one in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you're right. They do miss the mark. And all these people, they need common sense people to call the shots at times because it is everybody. And to me, that's where humor comes in. If you make a well-written, funny commercial, that exceeds all this I'm going to be woke shit.
Yeah.
So, it was all right. We should get to the game, though. The game, it was such an odd game, I thought.
Really?
Because the Niners basically dominated the whole game until the last 7 minutes.
Well, I think the Niners dominated the middle of the game. And they dominated it pretty thoroughly. I mean, if you look at the end, I believe at the end of the first quarter was 10-3 Chiefs.
Yeah. Correct?
So the beginning of the game, as many Super Bowls have in history, starts out a little slow.
Chiefs go 3 and out.
You're going to get a sluggish start, and this is sort of historic. Even the best offenses in football history, like I don't know the statistics, but just in my lifetime and watching it, these games start slow.
Yeah.
Not a ton of scoring. I think it wasn't until the Patriots' last Super Bowl or 2 Super Bowls ago that they hadn't scored a touchdown in the first quarter, like in all of their Super Bowl appearances. So you get these sluggish starts, but the Chiefs go 3 and out. The Niners have a couple of decent drives, but only come away with 3 points. And then you get the Mahomes run toward the end of the first quarter that puts them up 10-3. And it really seemed like that was going to be the type of game that it was going to be, that it's going to be relatively low scoring, a little bit of back and forth. Like in that moment, I was like, this is going to be an interesting game. And honestly, I think it played out. If you look at how the first quarter went, it sort of played out like that. Besides the fact that the Chiefs did not put a point on the board for the second and third quarters. So after that, I 100% agree with you. The Niners dominated the middle of the game. 17 points, 17 unanswered in the middle of the game. Second and third quarters were the Niners.
Mahomes has 2 interceptions, and those were on him. Those are just bad throws.
Yeah.
2 fumbles.
Yeah.
To me, the difference in this game boils down to those fumbles.
Yeah.
Like, if the Chiefs don't recover those,
I mean, there's a lot of
there's a lot, but those 2 plays.
But there's a lot of little moments in this game that you can look back on.
Obviously, Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing.
Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing the
Emmanuel Sanders.
The offensive PI call on Kittle, which suddenly, for the first time this whole season, the baby shove is going to be an offensive pass interference.
It was offensive pass interference.
100%. I don't know if you saw my tweet. It's 100% pass interference. No doubt about it. It's also a fraction of what Kyle Rudolph did to seal the Saints game. Same thing, big tight end in coverage, decent coverage, getting a little separation. Kyle Rudolph stiff-armed a guy away from him on a fade ball to ice the playoff game. Like, the idea, again, NFL officiating, be consistent.
Sure.
If you're going to let one team advance on a offensive rebound, shove a guy while the ball's in the air, and then a half a version of that, 2 guys running down the field, a little not even fully extended arm separation. Again, I 100% agree with you. I'm a guy who has said it's really difficult to cover these days. It's really difficult. You should not, especially when you're guarding a guy like George Kittle, have to deal with him getting his separation with an extended arm. But NFL officiating, you got to get it together. Like, the idea that was called, not reviewed. I mean, I think it was late in the half, so it wouldn't, would have had to been reviewed by the booth. But, like, called, and then they just go on, and they don't even review that Kyle Rudolph play. Get your shit together.
Overall, I will say I thought it was pretty well officiated.
Yeah.
For the most part, they let him play.
Let him play. A lot of
there wasn't many penalties.
A lot of hits on the quarterback. A lot of you got that Garoppolo shove out of bounds. A lot of hands to the face that we saw in replays. They let him play, which I'm fine with.
Yeah,
especially
me too.
in the Super Bowl.
Me too. I like how they let him play, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. If you go back, the Niners are still up 20-10. There's 7:03 to play. It's 3rd and 15. After they just successfully challenged the catch by Tyreek Hill. So it's 3rd and 15, and then they go deep. I'm saying it's crazy to think still at that point, I'm watching that game, and I'm saying the Niners are controlling this. It's 3rd and 15. It's an uphill battle for the Chiefs, and they just got hot.
Well, I'll say a couple things. One, first of all, I refuse to talk about this game as if it was a 31-20 football game. This was a 24-20 football game. That last touchdown is not a factor to me.
Why?
In any, because it was over. At that point, it was over. Once they got the ball back.
I disagree. Because if they hold them to a field goal.
But there was no holding them to a field goal. They were going to run out the clock regardless.
No, because they still had their timeouts.
Yeah, but
they had all 3 timeouts.
But once they get the first down, I mean, he gets that big rush. They get the first down. Like, they're moving the ball. They're getting into territory. Yeah, you could hold them to a field goal. There's not going to be a ton of time left in the game.
I believe that was like a 37, 38-yard run by Damian Williams.
Yeah, exactly. It was a 38-yard run. Yeah.
So, I don't know.
To me, I think you're already 38 yards. You're already in. You're already inside their territory. You're, with that run, you get a first down. Like, again, if he gets tackled and he's in, like, it's going to be a tough go for the Niners because they're going to have to use their timeouts to stop them.
Yeah.
So you're getting the ball back with not a ton of time left and no timeouts. You have to use the timeouts to stop the clock. So to me, again, it's not even a matter of the fact that whether or not they would have had a chance. It's just 31-20 doesn't tell the story of this game. It was a one-score game. It was absolutely, and we've seen this so many times in the Super Bowl. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo got the ball down 4. Like, that's the story of the game. the fact that it's an 11-point game when all said and done is kind of neither here nor there. They got the ball with a chance to drive down and win the game. But let me say this about, because you said, then they got hot. First of all, congratulations to Andy Reid, great coach, long time coming. Finally has a quarterback who's not Alex Smith or Donovan McNabb, and has made 2 championship game appearances in 2 years with Mahomes. Gets to a Super Bowl the second year, wins a Super Bowl the second year. Still a bit suspect, if you ask me. They didn't throw the ball deep the entire game. And people are going, well, he didn't have time to throw deep, which I just flat out do not agree with. You can move the pocket. But you've got a track team as your wide receivers. We're not talking about, not being able to get guys downfield. Tyreek Hill can get downfield in 3 seconds. I mean, realistically, in 3 seconds, this guy can run 40 yards, right?
But they showed a stat, man. I actually agree. He didn't have time. They showed a stat at one point. I even pointed out while we were watching the game. And this was like end of third quarter. At that point, he'd have been sacked, pressured, or hurried it was about 1 out of every 2.5 passes.
Yeah.
They were getting to him.
They absolutely were.
How many times did Nick Bosa have Mahomes in the clutch, like in his clutch, but he didn't bring him down because Mahomes is so elusive? You know what I'm saying? Like, they were putting
But here's
pressure.
Here's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not going to be critical of Andy Reid.
Here's all I'm going to say. They, in the fourth quarter, attempted to go downfield. Truly the first attempts. Everything was, the Niners were keeping everything in front of them. They finally start just trying to do it, and it works. They get Tyreek Hill open on a long one, and honestly, that's when the game started to roll. Like, I understand that he was pressured, but you have to find a way to move the pocket. You have to find a way to do what you do, and they did in the fourth quarter. But honestly, I just thought, why are they not trying to do this? Why are they not trying to do it? Why are they not putting Tyreek Hill, why are they not putting 3 guys over on one side, Tyreek Hill on the other, and just fucking throwing the ball in the air?
I mean, Hill still finished with over 100 yards.
Yeah, because he had a couple big ones late.
I don't know. I'm not going to be as critical. At the end of the day, they won, and they went against a great defense. I think Richard Sherman's had a great year, but he was exposed, plain and simple. Anytime he was one-on-one, and obviously that big, deep pass to Sammy Watkins, and have you been following the Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman? And,
sure.
Of course, Revis instantly tweeted, I think that was the soft spot.
Well, the Richard Sherman is no doubt a great player.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But it's the same, it's the same thing as Josh Norman back in the day. A lot of talk, and Darrelle Revis is, you can say whatever you want about the late part of Darrelle Revis' career, but you are not a true lockdown corner if you're staying on one side of the field and playing zone for the majority of your career.
Yeah.
If you're Dion, if you're Revis, if you're Champ Bailey, you are finding the best receiver on the other team, and you're following him around for his life.
Yeah, it's a lockdown corner.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Richard Sherman wasn't that yesterday. Also, Richard Sherman has never been that.
Great player, but you're right. Not a lockdown corner.
He's a scheme player. And honestly, he's been in 2 different schemes where his skill set works. Good for him. You can only do what you're asked to do.
Yeah.
But don't act like let's not pretend that if Pete Carroll or Shanahan didn't have Deion Sanders, or if they had Deion Sanders, that he'd be sitting in his zone all day. Like, he straight up wouldn't be. They'd be like, all right, we're going to play his zone. Also, Deion's going to follow around their best player.
Did we learn anything about Jimmy Garoppolo? Because at this point, there's been so much discussion. Can he lead his team to a win? Can he drive down the field? Like you said, they got to the 49 of Kansas City, 1st and 10. He's got that ball to Emmanuel Sanders that he just overthrows him. And I thought Troy Aikman made a great point. saying even if he underthrows him,
Mm-hmm.
it gives the receiver a chance to come back to the ball for a pass interference, which I thought was a very great point that he made in the broadcast. So,
Look,
by the way, I don't want to be overly critical of Garoppolo, but did we learn anything we didn't?
I'll be overcritical of Garoppolo. I'll be overcritical of Shanahan.
Okay, go ahead.
Because together, and again, this is what I said about Matt Ryan and Shanahan together in the Falcons Super Bowl. Is I put it more on Shanahan than I do on Garoppolo. But again, Garoppolo, everybody loves to do the game manager, the carried by your defense, all these things for guys who are not quote unquote elite quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. But look at Mahomes' stat line in this game versus Garoppolo's for a lot of the game. No one was really outplaying one another. The bottom line is when push comes to shove, Mahomes with 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles and the game, like you said, looking human for the first time. No, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I don't give a fuck if he looks like a less than human. When the game is on the line, he made some fucking plays.
Sure.
And that's the difference between, winning a Super Bowl and not winning a Super Bowl is Jimmy Garoppolo had him wide open.
Yeah.
And missed him.
Yeah.
And like you said, Troy Aikman, a lot of people like to look at other quarterbacks in Super Bowl history and say like that wasn't even a good throw. You know what I mean? And you look at it, it's like first things first, put it somewhere where he can make a play.
Sure.
Come back, pass interference, jump ball, whatever. Like trust your receivers to make a play, regardless of who they are. I know everybody fucking wants to skewer me for always being an Eli Manning slower, but like he threw a jump ball to David Tyree against Rodney Harrison. That was the ball. Rodney Harrison, fucking 10-time Pro Bowl or whatever the fuck he is, and David, you have to trust your teammates to make a play. He missed him by 6 yards, 8 yards. Then he takes the sack on 4th down. Garoppolo, the whole year, I said it, is he going to be like this is the situation that everybody brought up. Down 4 in a Super Bowl with a minute and change left. Can he drive him down to win the game? He did it in that
minute and change, dude. He had a good.
No, I'm saying, but that's the situation.
Yeah.
That's the situation that you dial up, right? When you have, you're basically under the 2-minute drill. You're in a 2-minute drill situation. You have the ball. You need a touchdown. Can the guy do it? That's what you have to look at your quarterback and say, that's the difference. That's like kind of step one of, can a guy win a Super Bowl? If he's in that situation, can he make that? Like you said, he had more time than that. And he did it in that Saints game during the regular season, and he had these drives during the regular season, but he had this game. They had the opportunity, and he didn't get it done. But you've also got to put it on Shanahan, man. Do
you know the stat? I'm sure you've seen it.
In terms of being outscored in Super Bowl fourth quarters and overtimes, that whole thing?
Since the Patriots Super Bowl, his teams have been outscored in the second half 42-0.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't what is it? I'm sorry, 52.
Yeah, and I think it's 46-0 in fourth quarters and overtimes.
So he hasn't scored a point. Obviously, you can't put that on him because most of that's the defense. But he hasn't scored a point offensively.
But again, you can put it on him, and I think it's like unfair to criticize the defense in this situation. And in the other the 49ers defense played fucking great. The 49ers defense kept the Kansas City Chiefs in check. You're going into the fourth quarter 2010. Look at time of possession in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs had the ball for almost 12 minutes, and the Niners had the ball for 3. How long can you expect your defensive line in the Super Bowl to consistently get after an elusive quarterback with going against a high-powered offense that has had a great scheme for multiple years? How long can you expect your defense to do it? Also, The thing about Shanahan is it's just like, why does he seem to outcoach himself? The early part of the game and the middle part of the game, his offense looks totally different. I said when we did our Super Bowl preview show that I loved Deebo Samuel as a potential Super Bowl MVP candidate.
He's playing great.
Open the game. There was a point late in the third quarter where he's within 3 yards of leading their team in rushing and leading their team in receiving. They're running these screens to him. They're running these reverses to him. They're finding Deebo Samuel was nowhere to be found late in the game. They're running at the edge. That's the way they're attacking, the same way they attacked the Packers. They're running at the edge, and then they abandon it. And you're going with this strategy, we're going to run the ball 60 times or whatever it is against the Packers, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw the ball 7 times. And then in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, you turn it over to Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw the ball 11 times in the fourth quarter, and you're going to run it 4 or whatever it is. It just seems like you're out coaching yourself. Why didn't they just keep doing what was working? Where was the Deebo Samuel reverse? Where was the jet sweep? Where was the running at the edge? Where was the screen passes? All of a sudden, we're going Jimmy Garoppolo play action for the win?
Yeah. No, I agree. I even said that. I said they're passing too much. Stick to the run. Stick to what got you here.
Stick to the run simply because, again, if what's controlling this game is the fact that Patrick Mahomes can't get comfortable in the pocket, stick to the run to give your defensive line some fucking time on the sideline to get some air, get some water, get back in there and get after it. It's just fucking, it's just, athleticism and athletics in general. You can't just ask a guy go 100% on every snap for an entire quarter of football. It's going to catch up with you.
What I liked about this game was that throughout the game, I kept saying, who's the MVP? And I like that because Mahomes has obviously 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
Yep.
He gets them back. Garoppolo at one point is like, hey, when they're up 20-10.
Yeah.
He had a very high completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 1 bad pick. You're thinking maybe he can get it. And then you're also looking at Bosa's stats saying, hey, Deebo as well. And it was really interesting. Obviously, at the end, Mahomes won it. I texted you, is there any debate? Mahomes with 3 total touchdowns. I said, is Damian Williams in the mix? Maybe. I thought about it a little more and thought, Mahomes deserved the MVP.
I know when you look at the stat line, Damian Williams with 106 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. It's hard to not.
They get 134 total yards.
Yeah. It's hard to not make the case. But again, if you look at this game as a 24-20 game, which honestly, again, I do, you take away that late touchdown by Damian Williams, which was a 38-yard run. Up to that point, he's got 66-yard rushing and no touchdowns. He does have the receiving touchdown, which is great. But again, that's a 40 yards of his 130 whatever. And to me also, yes, Mahomes had 2 picks, but unlike Garoppolo, and here's the thing, as much as I liked the Bosa MVP if the Niners hold on to win, as much as I love the Deebo Samuel's MVP if they fucking use him in the fourth quarter and he gets a couple more touches, if Garoppolo drops that pass in there, if Garoppolo leads them down,
then he gets
and
it.
Goes up 27-24. If he does what, again, many quarterbacks who have gotten the Super Bowl MVP with less than amazing stats, you get the ball late, you drive your team down for the win. That is why you are the highest paid player on any team, being the quarterback. That is why the quarterback is the most important position. The ball's in your hands. Go get us a win. He didn't. He looked suspect not doing it. And, yeah, I think to me, he drops that pass in there. He's the Super Bowl MVP. They win 27-24.
Maybe. I mean, at that point, the Chiefs still would have had more than a minute.
Sure. No, no doubt about Jimmy Garoppolo's not winning the MVP if they don't win the game.
Yeah.
But to me, Mahomes came back. Mahomes has the rushing touchdown early, multiple rushes, to keep drives alive.
Well,
They're running these options. They're running these.
and something I want to remind everybody, I think we get too short-sighted on Super Bowls and making the Super Bowl, how difficult it is. And I didn't even look it up because I figured we could just talk about it. And I'm reading a lot. Well, the 49ers are fine. They're very, and they are a very young team, and they are a very talented team, and they're built for the future. We said the same thing about the Rams last year. Rams didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
My point is this, and it doesn't just hold up for the 49ers. It also holds up for the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs, pretty fun team. Back-to-back conference championships, one Super Bowl. But we've seen it, Joe, and I want to remind everybody, to make back-to-back Super Bowls, even in the last 20 years, who's made just back-to-back Super Bowl appearances? The Seahawks and the Patriots? Who else?
Yeah, I have no idea, but I don't think, off the top of my head, did the Broncos?
No.
No. I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. I think
no, it's extreme. Absolutely, getting to the Super Bowl
is so difficult.
hard.
And I want to remind everybody, and that's what's so great for Patrick Mahomes. Whatever happens with his career, he's going to be amazing, or at least he should be the best quarterback in the league for years to come. But you never know with injury, and that's my point.
And again, the contract.
Exactly.
And the contract.
And that's my point with just getting and winning a Super Bowl. I always want to bring it back to that. We look at these quarterbacks. We look at Drew Brees. We look at Aaron Rodgers. They got one Super Bowl. We look at Dan Marino, who made the Super Bowl his second year, never even sniffed a Super Bowl again. Don't forget that. So everybody was like, well, the 49ers are built, or even the Chiefs are built. It's so damn hard. Basically, in the last 20-plus years, unless you're the New England Patriots, nothing is guaranteed.
Absolutely. And I said that when we were talking about Garoppolo and Brady a couple weeks ago. I think maybe it was with Tug when you were out of town. But, you look at it, it's so difficult. Like, the idea of getting back next year, forget it. Like you said, statistically it doesn't happen. But just again, like you said with Breeze, look at over the course of Drew Brees' career, how great Drew Brees has been, how many great Saints teams have. He's had a Super Bowl appearance.
One.
A Super Bowl appearance.
For how great Drew Brees has been.
Now, Mahomes, obviously it's tough to think if Andy Reid sticks around and they have a lot of talent that's in place, that the Chiefs aren't primed to be in a few Super Bowls in the next, half a dozen years. But again, the contract situation is very important. And we all know Patrick Mahomes is going to get a ton of money. As I said a couple weeks ago, Patrick Mahomes is the only person in the league at this point that is actually deserving of the money that a lot of these quarterbacks are getting. I think he becomes the highest paid quarterback. But here's what I would do if I was the Chiefs. I'd make him the highest paid quarterback, but I'd make him the highest paid quarterback for a long – not the highest paid quarterback for a long time, but I'd make him the highest paid quarterback, and I'd make his contract a long time. Get your $400 million 10-year deal going. Because here's the thing. 3 years from now, 4 years from now, $40 million will be a deal for quarterbacks. The numbers just keep going up. I would lock Patrick Mahomes in for as long as possible at just a little bit more expensive than whatever they're paying Jared Goff.
Well,
or whoever. You know what I'm saying?
This next season, 2020 season, is the last. I just looked it up. That's the last year of his rookie deal.
Right. He will be signed before that. They will extend him before that.
I would assume they would sign him before that if they're smart.
In a way, I think that the Chiefs, like I said, primed to be in Super Bowls or be a Super Bowl contender for a long time. It's almost like you got to be happy that you won a Super Bowl. You haven't been to the Super Bowl in 50 years. You haven't won a Super Bowl however long. That's their first Super Bowl, correct? They lost the other Super Bowl. Or did they win? I don't know.
I think they won one.
Okay. You almost are like, if only we could have extended him before he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like some small part of you,
like hedging your bet.
If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, it's like, well, if we had lost this and he throws 2 picks, maybe we get a deal and we actually end up getting more Super Bowls in the long run. But you got to take your Super Bowls. You got to take your unless you're the Patriots, you got to take your Super Bowls and just be happy with your Super Bowl.
I know guys can change, but I think Patrick Mahomes has got a really good head on his shoulders. Whoever he surrounded himself by, they're giving him good advice. I think it helps that his dad was a professional athlete.
Absolutely. Troy Aikman's mentioned that in multiple broadcasts of just, the way he handles himself on the field. He'll always say, I don't know if it's because his dad was a professional athlete, but he has a way of just nothing seems to get him too high or too low.
He is one of the most humble players out there, which is amazing for his talent. You watch the interviews, and I watched a lot of them last night. Every single thing. Patrick Mahomes thanking his teammate, thanking Coach Reed. He just continues to basically not accept it all on himself. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you got to be feeling really good, like we're saying. It's not easy to always get back, but the potential, especially with the Patriots dynasty basically ending, or whatever you want to call it, reloading, whatever they're doing. I mean, come on.
And
there's Patrick Mahomes, and then there's everyone else.
And I got to say, Patrick Mahomes, like other elite quarterbacks in the last, decade or so, it's great that Tyreek Hill is a speedster. It's great that Travis Kelce is one of the top tight ends in the league. But what was Sammy Watkins? McCole Hardman. He's the kind of guy who's I'm fine with going later. He's going to turn receivers into guys who can produce.
Yeah.
He has that ability.
Sure.
So, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm worried a lot less about their backfield, their receiver situation. I'm worried more about an offensive line that can protect Mahomes, because the last thing you want is him getting hurt, and a defense that can be decent.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. And the rest is going to work itself out. He's going to have Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid especially. They'll have a productive offense.
Yeah.
They'll be a top 5 offense in the league.
And to me, that's also the difference between this year and last year. It's that defense. That defense yesterday was bending, but when it came down to it at the end, they stepped it up when they had to.
Yeah.
They got the sack. They didn't give up any points in the second half.
And there was a couple missed plays in there too. I mean, there was that one
missed
guy jumping the route at the end. I don't know what Garoppolo was doing on that throw.
Yeah.
Jumping the route almost iced the game right there. Yeah. Look, I think when you look at the storylines of both these teams in this game and in going forward, you've got to say Patrick Mahomes is the future at quarterback in the NFL. Being with Andy Reid for however long he'll be with Andy Reid is going to be a good fit. They basically got everything in place. I'm obviously a Steve Spagnuolo fan and what he's able to do, as a defensive coordinator. So just give him a little bit to work with on defense.
Yeah.
And they're going to be fine, barring any sort of disastrous malfunction in personnel. They're going to be fine. Barring, Patrick Mahomes' representation demanding he gets $60 million a year. But I think Patrick Mahomes is smart. I think he knows winning quarterbacks get ads, winning teams, produce MVPs. You're not going to be the MVP on an 8-8 football team. If you want to continue to up your status as a single player, you need the whole thing around you. I'm hoping he's smart enough to go, I don't need to fucking double what Kirk Cousins is getting or double what Jared Goff's. Pay me a little bit more, make me the highest paid quarterback in the league. And if the Chiefs are smart, they'll do it for a long time. So as that number goes up, he stays in place. And then you flip to the Niners side. I think the Niners are set up nicely. I think they're able to run the ball.
Tough division, though, for the Niners.
Tough division, but they're able to run the ball because they have a fantastic offensive line. They rebuilt it really fast. I mean, look at the turnaround. Look how fast the turnaround is.
Did you see the stat? I saw an amazing stat yesterday that they showed about general manager John Lynch. It said of the 53 players on this roster, he's responsible for 47 of them.
Yeah.
So he took that team, basically threw it in the trash can, and just got all new players.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
For that quick of a turnaround.
Yeah. Fantastic. They're set up for a long time. I think you can have your question marks about Jimmy Garoppolo based on the way he played in this game. But at the same time, I think you've got to look at the 49ers and say, he's not going to get worse.
Yeah.
He's going to get better. And we are set up to play a very specific kind of game where keep Jimmy – like, again, how good do you want Jimmy Garoppolo to play? Because then you got to pay your quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo being a middle-of-the-pack contract so that you can pay Bosa, because that running game is going to be that run. With the offensive line, Mostert's been on 6 teams.
Yeah.
That running game is going to be that running game if fucking Bilbo here is in the backfield. You know what I mean? You're going to have to pay the Kittle. You're going to have to pay the Bosa. You're going to need to keep that defense strong. And, you know, the question mark for this Niners team, very similar, you know, like the Rams, is Shanahan going to be able to stay ahead of the game?
Sure.
And also, the question is, I mean, talk about pointing Spider-Man meme. Did the passing of the torch, has Andy Reid officially passed the torch to Shanahan of offensive guru who doesn't know how fucking time works and can't manage the end of games late? Because we're now looking at multiple huge games where Shanahan just can't fucking use his time. I mean, he didn't use his timeout at the end of the half.
I was going to say, the first half, him not using the timeouts was interesting. He was content going in tied. But
then he takes a shot with Kittle like he's trying to fucking score.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
Also, I don't give a shit if you're content going in. Why does being content going in tied, why do you still not use that timeout there?
Yeah.
Why do you not use one timeout and get the ball back with 2 minutes left? He's worried about giving the Chiefs the ball back at the end of the first half with 50 seconds on the clock? To me, suspect. If you don't, this is what I said about, you know, the Reich Brissett thing early in the year. What you're saying to me when you do that is, I don't trust my quarterback. That's what he's saying to me.
Well, to me, it's also saying, which is surprising, you don't trust your defense to hold the Chiefs with 50 seconds left to not score. Your defense, who'd been playing lights out, who'd been getting to the quarterback, putting pressure, forcing bad throws, forcing turnovers. That was what was surprising to me, saying, dude, you got to at least take a shot.
But just the clock management obviously he's not the head coach of that Falcons team.
Yeah.
But he is calling the plays, and he is putting his teams in position with the plays he's calling. Just like it, I'm still just boggled at the run-pass ratio late in the game, in a game that in a season that has been controlled by your running game, in a Super Bowl game that's been controlled by your defensive line being able to go out and get after the quarterback on every down. The idea that in the fourth quarter, like, I get it, don't take your foot off the gas pedal, but your foot hasn't been on the gas pedal, man. Your foot's been on this fucking running attack. The idea that you're just going to turn the ball over to Jimmy Garoppolo and say, like, go win this game, which I'm fucking fine with, but do it within the offensive system that he's been doing it the whole year.
Yeah.
Where is the screens? Where is the sweeps? Where are the reverses? Where is the fucking rollouts? Where is the little play? Just Jimmy Garoppolo drop back and win us this game? Why? Suddenly you're just going to be like, hey, man, I know you haven't done this the whole time, but, like, go be fucking Joe Montana.
Well, I personally, I would like to just say to all the Chiefs fans, you're welcome.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Ruth or curse.
We all said it. I made my pick. Bilbo made his pick. You made your pick, and I was like, well, that's it. Chiefs win.
And then I did the tweet, the infamous Andy Ruther tweet, saying that for the first time, Patrick Mahomes has looked human.
Yeah.
After that, 2 drives down the field to score. And I appreciate, I see we've gotten, like, Chiefs fans who are also dirtballs are giving donations to me. I see Ellis Hardin gave one. Shout out Brett Pozak gave one, a $60 Thust Fund donation. These are all Chiefs fans, which I appreciate, guys. I appreciate. I help you. You help me. And you help the show back. And the Ruther curse, man, as strong as ever.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah. It's incredible. The thing I'm most excited about is that you just keep saying like 0% chance Trump loses. Like that's the good thing. I'm hoping this bends into politics.
I don't want to say 0% chance. There's always a chance. I'd be surprised. Then again, I was surprised that he won. So what the hell do I know?
Yeah. You know, I'm not big in like, you know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I had to do it again right now, I'd vote for Trump over Hillary. I didn't vote for Trump because I wasn't forced to pick one of the two, but I would still do it. But God, and you know, I don't follow him on Twitter, and you know, I don't like doing like everybody loses their mind over the tweets. The Kansas tweet. I mean, come on. This is the president of the United States.
That's an Andy Ruther tweet right there.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. The president of the United States doesn't know that Kansas City's in Missouri? That's unbelievable. That is mind-blowing fucking idiocy. That's some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like,
I don't think it's that bad, actually. I think a lot more dumb things or dumber things have been said from him or tweeted from him.
But Jesus, in the moment, considering everything, you're throwing out a Kansas, bro. I was laughing when I saw that one. I was like, this guy.
Well, let's get to the important stuff. Obviously, we've went in depth in the game. Was butt cleavage shown?
As far as I know, no.
Can I be
Correct?
honest? I don't know how to word this. Just a lot of bad shots. Is that what we're going to call it? Nick and I were talking. There was a lot of full frontal shots of the groins.
Yeah. We're talking about the halftime show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, the halftime show was.
I loved it.
I didn't give a fuck. Like, honestly, I said to you guys before the show, first of all, what did anybody expect from Shakira Jennifer Lopez? Like, this is exactly. I mean, there was a prop bet whether or not she was going to show butt cleavage.
I mean, we're talking about two Latin women who dance and shake their butts.
They're literally known for their asses.
Yes.
More than, like, this is like having the Kardashians on a halftime show and being like, they showed their ass.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only reason either have careers. Fact.
I disagree.
Nah, I don't. I think you're wrong.
That's a little disrespectful to J-Lo and Shakira.
Yeah? You think anybody's freaking out? I think there's been a lot of women that are a lot more talented singers and dancers than J-Lo and Shakira over the years.
I don't know.
Who didn't have the looks.
Look, here's my thing. I'm not an expert on singing. I'm sure there are a lot.
I haven't seen the Susan Boyle halftime show yet.
I know. Hold on. I'm not saying that there's not more talented singers. I think they're both phenomenal dancers, though. I mean, J-Lo started as a fly girl on In Living Color.
Yeah.
The woman's been dancing for Shakira. Come on. I see Nick has grabbed the mic. He is itching to hop in on this.
I mean, can we just talk about like how great of a venue Miami is for the Super Bowl? I mean, I tweeted this. I think every Super Bowl should just take place in Miami every year.
But what about follow that? Like, why?
I mean, it's just a fun atmosphere. You see it around Radio Row. You got Shakira. You got J-Lo. Miami vibe. It was just fun this year. It wasn't that exciting of a Super Bowl, in my opinion, and it's not going to be, like, memorable, but it was just a fun week.
I thought the game was great.
I thought it was great, too.
But I agree with you. I disagree with you that the Super Bowl should be in Miami every year, but I agree with you that there's, like, 5 places the Super Bowl should be, and I don't think that.
Give me those places.
I think it should be Miami, Southern California.
Agreed.
Vegas.
Agreed.
Like Arizona.
Yeah.
And Texas. Give us a fucking Texas Super Bowl every couple of years. Give us a Dallas.
Yeah. None of this Minnesota.
Yeah, like
Indianapolis.
I don't think that you should get a Super Bowl. Like the whole we're going to justify this new stadium by saying the Super Bowl is going to come. Indianapolis built a fucking new stadium. Give them the Final Four. Minneapolis built a new stadium. Give them the Final Four. Give them fucking, an all-star game. Give them whatever. The idea that the Super Bowl is going to be in Minnesota. First of all, I didn't even love the Super Bowl in New York. Am I 100% okay with adding New York to that list? Had they made that fucking place a dome? Of course. But the idea that they didn't dome that stadium and that it's outside, I don't need the Super Bowl in New York every 5
Yeah.
years.
Well,
Warm weather places.
I was going to say, the fact I was in Indianapolis for that Super Bowl when they played, when it was Patriots-Giants. And it was cold. Like, it was cold. I can only imagine Minnesota not having a Super Bowl in warm weather. I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
I really don't get that. I think you do need that vibe. I agree with you on the places you named.
I mean, if New Orleans could New Orleans Stadium hasn't been updated in forever. The lights went out,
well, no, they did after Katrina.
They updated, but I'm saying this is the same building.
Yeah.
New Orleans, you're until you get a new building, you're out.
I disagree.
I love New Orleans.
I disagree
I
with
love
New
the vibe of New Orleans, but we're putting them in a shitty stadium. You're out.
No, I think they did a lot of upgrades to it.
I ain't hearing upgrades. I'm hearing fucking new. You upgraded your fucking TV? No, get a fucking new TV.
I bet you they put a lot of money.
I don't give a shit how much they put in. We're not. It's not Madison Square Garden. We have to worry about fucking the history and the fucking Superdome. Build a new stadium, or you don't get the Super Bowl again.
Man, no love for New Orleans, Brano?
I love New Orleans. New Orleans is one of my favorite cities in America. A fact. I love New Orleans. But unless you got a stadium built in the last fucking 10 years, you don't get the Super Bowl. Unless you're in a fucking super city.
So how do we feel about Tampa hosting next year?
Tampa, bullshit. Why would you be in Tampa when you can be in Miami?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Why would you be in Houston when you could be in Dallas and you at the Jerry Dome? Right? You want to play the Super Bowl in the new stadium in Los Angeles that they're just building? Cool. We're not sending it back to San Diego until San Diego builds the fucking super stadium.
Raymond James, too. It's not a new stadium by any means either.
No.
So why is this happening in Tampa?
The stadium in Arizona is still state of the art. They're still rolling out that turf field and having natural grass that's growing in the sun until they roll it back in. It's a warm weather. You need a fucking legit modern stadium in a warm weather city. Again, New York is the only wild card, and they duffed it by not having a super stadium.
How do they choose? Like, is this something that happens? Like they predict it 3 years down the road or something?
Usually
like that?
more than that, and a lot of times it's given to places as part of a deal of getting a new stadium. Detroit had it, Houston had it, Indianapolis had it, Minnesota had it. Like we've had a bunch of Super Bowls in cities that never should have had the Super Bowl. Get the fuck out of here, Minnesota. You never should have had a Super Bowl.
So these are the next 3 Super Bowls. Next year, as you said, next 4 actually. Next year is in Florida. Then it's out here in L.A. in the new stadium. Then it's back to Arizona in 2022. Then it's back to New Orleans in 2023.
Where's Vegas?
I assume they're going to get it.
The idea that it's going back to New Orleans before it goes to Vegas is ludicrous.
You see these rumors about the Raiders pursuing Tom Brady?
Yeah, I don't see how that works for him again unless he's getting some sort of super deal.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't put that past Tom Brady at all. Some sort of super backdoor, like he's going to own a casino. Like that's what Tom Brady should be looking at. Tom Brady should be looking at, again, like I said, this is the Pat Riley deal. Getting ownership stake someplace, getting ownership in a casino, getting whatever. Like this should be, if he leaves the Patriots, it should be some sort of post-career setup plan.
Like a TB12 on top of a building.
Yeah, like fucking
Las
Tom Brady
Vegas.
Casino. Yeah. Brady's house. 6 Rings Resort and Casino. Whatever the fuck. I don't know.
Yeah. Just come to L.A., bro.
Again, I think the L.A. move is some sort of crazy back end deal from the Chargers because he's going to be the only reason they sell tickets, and then like some post career, again, governor of California is my long shot prediction. Dude, if Ronald Reagan go from governor to president, if Arnold Schwarzenegger, who wasn't even born here and still for some reason can't speak English without a fucking weird accent, can be governor of California. Tom Brady could get elected to governor of California tomorrow. They'd be like, we're running a fucking election.
I don't know, man. I think, well, I guess both those guys you named were Republicans. So I think Brady's a Republican.
Yeah, no shit. California, Democratic more than they're Republican, but star fuckers over anything else.
That's a great point.
The state of California is the star fucking capital of the world.
It really is wild.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be a Republican in California, make sure you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
And they'll vote you in.
Yeah.
I got to ask you something off topic. How are you? I know you have knee issues, and obviously the whole thing is not easy to get around. Have you been able to trim the hedges, manscape a little?
Dude, trim the hedges. I've got everything from the waist down trimmed. I've got a lady leg over here.
Yeah.
The doctor said he had to shave my leg. This is true, Andy. Doctor said we're gonna have to shave your leg for surgery, and I said I have my medicine kit here with me. Can you use my manscaping, my hedge trimmer?
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. I'm glad you do that, guys. Because support for today's Dirty Sports comes from Manscaped, who is the best who's the best in men's below the belt. Let's try this ad read again. Support for today's Dirty Sports comes from Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Guys, it's 2020. Don't be a savage. Don't have a wild, unkept forest down there. And he just went to use the bathroom. But I did have a confession from Bilbo,
Yeah.
Nick D'Alessandro.
Yep.
Said he's got some thickets.
Wow.
And I said, dude, you know what I got for him? You know what I'm going to give him? The Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0.
Wow. There's a 3.0.
There's a 3.0 which just came out. This thing is even better than the 2.0. It's got 90 minutes of runtime on one charge.
Wow. That's what I need.
A rapid charging dock, and get this, a diamond textured no slip grip. This thing is way better than their 2.0. The 2.0 was great. You can get 20% off this Lawnmower 3.0 or any products at Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and using promo code DIRTY at checkout. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code DIRTY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use promo code DIRTY. And once again, that includes free shipping. This Lawnmower 3.0 is state of the art, guys. Seriously, handle your business. Go to manscaped.com, drop promo code DIRTY, get 20% off, and thank us later because you're going to look and feel so much better when you're groomed down below.
We were talking about the halftime show, and I want to go further into it because
Go for it.
You know, there's again, I said today, there was this pearl clutching I saw on the internet. A lot of the
Now, I didn't know that term. Explain that term.
you know, somebody clutching their pearls. You know, it's a term for like oh my God.
Like an old school term.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm offended. You know, the term pearl clutching and grabbing your pearls so as to not be stolen by some savage on the street. It's a term for the old money, old ass white people being offended by some shit. So a lot of people upset that the Super Bowl halftime show was too graphic. Which I will say, first of all, this whole like my kids are watching. Your kids are watching.
Grown men beat the shit out of each other.
Grown men literally turn themselves into vegetables.
Give each other brain damage.
And you're breaking that up with blatant ads for alcohol. You're breaking that up with nonstop talk about gambling. The lines, the props, you can't talk about the Super Bowl. You can't talk about the coin toss. Can't talk about the national anthem. Can't talk about this whatever without gambling being involved. So the idea that this is supposed to be some sort of family-friendly game. First of all, also, you didn't see butt cleavage. You didn't see what it like. If you think your 10-year-old ain't seen worse than Shakira, wake up. They have the internet. But then on the flip side, I was at a Super Bowl party and all the girls are, this is iconic. These girls are boss bitches. I'm somewhere in between going like, yeah, it's fucking J-Lo and Shakira fucking lip syncing and shaking their ass and pole dancing. Like, what? The pole was a bit much. By the way, not for me. Like, I'm not offended, but I'm like, we're really putting a pole in the middle of the fucking Super Bowl? like the old keep your daughter off the pole thing.
Yeah.
J-Lo's dad's watching his daughter pole dance. Just straight up being a stripper at the Super Bowl.
Well, I agree with every point you made, especially the idea of this family event. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Football is the modern day American. It's the modern day gladiator.
Yeah.
Going back to ancient Roman times. The fact that these guys are beating the shit out of each other, and we're talking about it being a family event. I think people are just looking for something to complain about. It doesn't matter, right, Joe? Whether it's the Super Bowl or the restaurant they go to or a movie or something a politician says, everybody just wants to whine. Everybody wants to be on it, which is such a weird mentality of you want to be offended. We live in this I want to be offended age, which is so bizarre. And I agree. You're 100% right.
And by the way, what offends you doesn't offend everybody else. And what offends me doesn't offend you. I am certain that the people who are, again, clutching their pearls over J-Lo being in a fucking, I don't know, cat suit or whatever the fuck she was in, or, her leather whatever, is everybody's so fucking, everybody's just, like, it's so hypocritical. You know what I mean? Everybody doing whatever. You know what offended me more than anything? The 12-minute fucking commercial for the United States flag that happened pregame. I'm sitting there I tune into the pregame show, and now I have some sort of documentary about Johnny Cash and Betsy Ross and the American flag and veterans and fucking Kyle, whoever the fuck. And, like, I was like, what the fuck is this? Why am I literally watching U.S. war propaganda instead of fucking hearing about pregame shit?
Well,
that offended me, and I turned it off.
That shouldn't surprise you.
I turned it off and then missed what apparently was some great 100-year piece that they did after that, because I was like, I can't watch this fucking, military-industrial complex fucking circle jerk. And that offends me. So the idea that some fucking Republican out there who's literally jacking off to some American flag thing is then offended by jail. And let's be honest, like, every fucking old-ass white man, the only reason they didn't have a fucking rock-hard boner is probably because they fucking didn't take their, dick pills. Like, enough with I was offended that these girls are shaking their ass.
It's fake outrage.
So fucking stupid.
Again, fake outrage meets fake patriotism. They all have a circle jerk with each other. I've said it forever. That's what it is. Overall, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed
all the woke women that, fucking love it. I didn't see a whole lot of J-Lo's entire dance team is covered in leather. I didn't see a whole lot of vegan outrage, when bad bitches are doing their thing. Suddenly a lot of the fucking things you care about go out the window.
Well, look, we're all hypocrites.
Yeah.
All of us. We're all just walking hypocrites on two legs. Just own it. I own it. I'm the amount of times I'm probably hypocritical throughout my own day.
There was there was some weirdness to the halftime show for me as well, but like I'm not offended by anything. Like it certainly, and I think purposely was supposed to be like a sexy halftime show, right?
Yeah.
That was it's Miami, as Nick said, two Latinas known for shaking their booties. I think everybody can agree that the word sexy was probably something that was talked about in the creative process of designing the halftime show, correct?
Yeah.
Did there need to be like 10-year-old girls out there also in mass? Like, did there need to be like 50 10-year-old girls out there? Like,
well, that was for all
in
the
like hoodies.
That was for all the pedophiles.
Yeah, like that was weird
like
to
they
me,
were,
right?
They were checking off every demographic of people.
Was anybody questioning like whether or not those 10-year-old girls were like, what's with the pole? Like, why can't you dance on stage? It's like, well, that's what strippers do. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, that was, to me, was like a little weird. But I don't give a shit. I'm sure the parents of all those little theater kids didn't give a fuck. They're probably like, hey, you want my 10-year-old on the pole? Put her up there. You're paying her, right?
They might have well had the halftime show sponsored by Tootsie's instead of Pepsi. And anybody who gets that reference, you're welcome. Do you get it?
No. Is that a strip club?
Yeah. It's like the famous strip club in Miami. I've heard lots of stories. Never been. You know who used to frequent there? Aaron Hernandez,
Wow.
mentioned in the Netflix doc.
The underground in Hermosa Beach and Tootsie's in Miami.
Yeah. That's where he would go to act like he was not a homosexual.
Got it.
To Tootsie's. Yeah. Add that to the Dirty Sports bucket list. Add that to the leisure. Nick and I have the thus list, and then what do you call it, Nick? What do you call it? Is it the leisure list?
I'm all about alliterations. It's the content calendar and the leisure list.
Yeah.
So Tootsie's added to the leisure list.
So that means we have to make a road trip to Miami.
I'm all for
We're
Miami.
going to Miami.
I think Bo has a music festival he wants us to go to or something like that. We can hit Tootsie's on the way.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Nick and I are never leaving each other's side.
I know. I said you should both have body cams like your fucking highway patrol cops.
We might need body cams for this whole Costco shtick now if we still are getting stopped by security 15 seconds into going to Costco.
We made it. We made it through.
We made it happen.
I also think you just press. I just think every time you go, you try.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
like honestly, I don't think Costco security's like on it.
Yeah, but
I don't think they're catching it every time.
look how great the video turned out with his iPhone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not too concerned.
I mean, Steven Soderbergh shot a feature film on an iPhone this year.
Yeah.
I think you guys will be able to get Costco runs.
Yeah, exactly. We do have to announce, because the NFL Honors was this weekend, so they announced all their awards.
Yeah.
So we do have to announce our 2020 Aaron Hernandez Savage of the Year award. I think it's pretty obvious. Congrats, Antonio Brown.
It's one of those things where it's like,
It's like on slides, the dude of the year.
Yeah. Just like the headline. You can't be getting as many headlines as Antonio Brown did for just being a total savage without getting the Savage of the Year award. Just consistency throughout the year. Did he have one big splash? No. But like the whole year.
Yeah.
The helmet, the fucking feet, the arrest, the whole thing. I mean, yeah.
His social media.
I think it was Antonio Brown. I think we all knew. Look, when you go back and you look at the votes, like Lamar Jackson's MVP, it was unanimous. No one else got a vote.
Yeah. 100% unanimous. So congrats to Antonio Brown, our 2020 Aaron Hernandez Savage of the Year award winner. And hopefully, for my sake, you take that leverage from this award and get back in the NFL, because I do not want to be shoving the L chain up my butt.
Yeah. I have a hard time imagining he's in the NFL next year. Now, we're only a couple weeks now away from the XFL. Does Antonio Brown...
A couple weeks.
When's the start? Next week?
Bro, it's next week.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. My apologies.
Less than 6 days
God,
away.
God, this guy's so fucking... Are you an XFL fan?
Well, here's the deal. Nick over here, it kind of...
Is there an LA XFL team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Where are they playing?
Where the Chargers played. In the soccer stadium.
Okay.
Nick's kind of rubbed off on me. It is kind of crazy that the XFL has a deal with both Fox and ESPN. Like, they have legit TV deals.
Yeah.
They're not playing on some crappy channel. I'll watch this week out of curiosity.
Are you but like when you say I'll watch this week out of curiosity, are you like hoping that it's good and that you become an XFL fan? Like, are you hoping that you're like, I'm watching the XFL every week?
No, it's more of just like, let's see what happens.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what happens. I think we talk about content. I think it'd be great to go to a game down in Carson at the soccer stadium. I'm sure it'll be easy to get seats. I'm sure it'll be cheap.
Well, we've also got a dirtball, Dan, who works.
Dow.
Yeah, who works for the New York XFL team.
Are they the Guardians?
I believe they're the Guardians.
Yeah, he sent us some gear.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And maybe did they come to LA this year?
I think there's only 8 teams, so I
Right.
assume they would.
Assume they all play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we should go.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be our official XFL team, right?
The Guardians.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
we have a man on the inside.
Yeah.
Plus, it's easy for me. I'll just go stick with my New York across the board.
Yeah, it works. Do you want to go over the awards? Obviously, you just alluded to it. Lamar Jackson, unanimous MVP.
Mm-hmm.
No problems with me from that.
Yep.
Nick Bosa, Defensive Rookie of the Year. No problems with that. Offensive Rookie of the Year. There was a lot of people who had issues with Kyler Murray winning it over Josh Jacobs.
I saw a lot of people even like comparing Kyler Murray to a lot of that, like how his stats compared to Gardner Minshew, and like a lot of things. A lot of people had an issue with Kyler Murray, and I'm okay saying I would have been fine with. I thought Josh Jacobs was going to get it.
I did too, but I'll say this about Kyler Murray. He doesn't have the best stats, 3,700 yards, 20 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. He also rushed for 500-plus yards, another 4 touchdowns. The thing about Kyler Murray is he's playing the most important position on the football field.
Sure.
And you'd probably agree with me, Prano. Because of Kyler Murray this year, or if you want to call it the Kyler Murray-Cliff Kingsbury combo, I felt they could win any game. Like, I felt they were good enough, and they were. Dude, they were in against the Niners.
I didn't, and again, I didn't feel that they were good enough to win any game, but I felt like they were snaky enough. Like they were slippery enough and they had that weird, like, I called him Backdoor Murray. Like every game was going to be like kind of close.
Again, a great porn name, Backdoor Murray.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, and that's my point, is that Josh Jacobs, while he had a great year, he's not changing the game as much as Kyler Murray. That's where I would give it to Kyler Murray. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the other thing, and we talk a lot about quarterbacks on this show, and I have said without a doubt that quarterback is the most important position, like by far, hands down. It's the single most important position in sports. At the same time, when in doubt, the MVP goes to the Super Bowl MVP goes to the quarterback, blah, 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 all the things. Like, every award doesn't need to go to the QB.
Okay.
Like, I would say, in a sense, like, Lamar Jackson is going to get the MVP in a landslide, and offensive player, like, every once in a while when you have an opportunity to give it to somebody who's not a quarterback, give it to him. Make some of the guys, like, make some of the other guys on the professional football teams feel like this isn't all about the quarterback, because honestly, and I'm guilty of it as much as maybe more than anyone by saying it is all about the quarterback, but at the same time, throw a fucking running back a bone from time to time.
Fair enough. Defensive Player of the Year, Gilmore.
That was also a lot of people took issue with.
Yeah, Stephen Gilmore. A lot of people thought
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Yep. A lot of people said TJ Watt. A lot of people did with Gilmore what they did with Murray, comparing Gilmore's stats to other cornerback stats. I think that's a little bit reckless when you look at the way the New England Patriots defense was built. It was built around shutting down passing teams. I think Gilmore was a true, lockdown-ish corner. I think when you're judging cornerbacks on statistics is stupid. My thing with this is if you had told me it was TJ Watt, I'm not going to be super broken up about it. And if you told me it was Gilmore, I'm not going to be super broken up. I'm fine with it either way. I'm surprised Gilmore got it, but not that surprised.
Yeah. And we have new Hall of Fame inductees.
Yep.
I like all these.
Yep. For the most part, I think.
Steve Atwater.
Yep.
No problem there. Isaac Bruce. Long overdue.
Yep.
Steve Hutchinson, I don't know much about offensive line, whatever. Edgerrin James and Troy Polamalu.
Edgerrin James was surprising.
That
right?
was a surprising one.
Yeah. Where's he on the all-time rushing list? I was surprised Edgerrin James got in.
I was too. I felt like he had a good 4 or 5 year, like a really good 4 or 5 year run. But he's in. All the other guys.
Edgerrin James wasn't the MVP of the league, obviously.
Yeah.
Playing with Peyton Manning, like, I'd love to see. Can we just pull up Edgerrin James Wikipedia? Like, where is he all time? Where is he all time? Where is his? How many Pro Bowls? How many All Pros?
Well, he's 13th all time in yards.
Yeah.
12,246. So, not bad.
Yeah.
Let's see where he. Let's see where he's at though. Actually, let me just pull this up. Let me just go deep dive on his stats right here.
Yeah, I mean, if you click on Edgerrin James in that Pro Football Reference, it'll say up top there how many All Pros and how many Pro Bowls.
All right, so he was first team All Pro once, 4 Pro Bowls. Yeah, it's kind of interesting that he's there. I mean, so not insane stats.
Yeah, that was the one that was surprising to me.
He finished with 80 career rushing touchdowns. Never had more than 13 rushing touchdowns. So he led the league his first 2 years, he led the league in rushing. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had 7 1,000-yard rushing seasons. That's definitely surprising.
Yeah.
But all the other guys, like Palomalu was a game changer.
For sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely phenomenal.
One Defensive Player of the Year, correct?
I assume.
Yeah. I think he did.
Talk about a thorn in the Bengals side.
Yeah.
That
thorn in a lot of people's sides in
dude.
In the AFC North.
Yeah. Fun fact, he actually was Carson Palmer. They were roommates at USC.
Wow.
And then he destroyed him when he played
Yeah.
for the Steelers. Did you see what Palmer said about – we talked about it, right?
Yeah. To shit on the Bengals a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About Joe Burrow, like saying, you shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little NBA?
Sure.
Damian Lillard, Prano,
Yeah.
going off. I assume most of America watched the Lakers-Blazers game Friday night.
Yep.
First game since Kobe Bryant's death. And he went off 48 points, 7 threes. Let me just read his last 6 games. Damian Lillard's last 6 games. 61, 47, 50, 36, 48, and 51.
Yeah.
He's averaged 48.8 points. But here's the crazy stat about Damian Lillard that I want to say in his last 6 games.
And their record in those games?
They're 5-1. So they're winning as a team. But here's what's most important to me. I mean, 48 points, 49 points is amazing. He's shooting above 50% from not only the just regular shots, 3-point.
Yeah.
Like,
no, he's 100. Like he's in the zone right now. The shots that he's making, a lot of these threes, like his, off the dribble, off balance, his in transition, his crazy catch and shoots, like he's feeling himself right now.
yeah.
And I'm a Lillard fan. I was more of a Blazers fan because I love the McCollum-Lillard backcourt prior to Carmelo Anthony arriving. I don't want Carmelo. I fucking hate Carmelo Anthony so much that I don't even want him to get any sort of positive love for them. Like Lillard going off and then winning a bunch of games. Like I don't even want people looking at like Carmelo has anything to do with this. So I rooted more for the Blazers fans before his arrival. But yeah, dude, Lillard, he's been feeling himself a little bit ever since the big shot last year. I think we've seen this a lot in the NBA. Guys who have that one moment that their career that like changes the course of their career, and yeah, he's playing incredible. He's playing the best basketball in the NBA right now.
Yeah. I mean, all time in a 6-game stretch, it's the second most points.
Yeah. Well, I think it's third most behind 2 Harden 6-game stretches. But also when you look at that, I saw that stat on ESPN. I'm not sure that like those 6 games don't overlap. You know what I mean? Well, not like the first 6 of 7 games and the second 6 of 7 games or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Harden had some wild shit. Then Lillard, and then I think he's right there with Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
for that crazy 6-game stretch.
293.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's with Kobe. Pretty amazing. I mean, if you watch that game, and I hope everybody did, and if you didn't, you missed a hell of a game. Blazers, Lakers. Some of the shots he was hitting.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, I mean, we saw Terry Stotts the other day say like he's like I'm not talking about Lillard anymore. Like I don't have any more words. Like I don't know what you guys want me to say. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's his head coach.
Yeah. Where do the Lakers go? I'm really curious to see how they play post Kobe's tragic death.
Yeah. Look, I think the Lakers
because I think it's psychologically from that vantage point, do they play inspired basketball? Obviously, they lost the first game, which I think a lot of people saw. I think emotionally, it's too tough to get.
I'm so angry at myself because I looked at it and it was 13 or 13 and a half was the spread. And I
Way
was
too
like-
big.
I was like, I fucking think that they're gonna lose this game.
Yeah.
I almost dove in on the Blazers money line. I didn't pull the trigger, and I'm kicking myself with my one good leg right now.
Yeah.
Because, God damn it, that just reeked of a letdown game.
Wow, it's just so much.
Yeah, so much emotion.
So much emotion, so tough to overcome, and obviously, they played well offensively.
Not to mention Carmelo didn't play or was saying he wasn't going to play because Kobe was supposed to be there, like told him he was going to be there that day for the game. So like I was like, fuck, all the more I want the Blazers.
Yeah. But do the Lakers, do they play inspired ball, or they won on Saturday, they won in Sacramento, or does it hurt them? Because
I mean, if you look at the Lakers so far this year, they're first in the West. They're first in the West by a bunch of games. Like, do they play inspired? Like, I don't think they're reeling off 20 straight. I don't think they're going like on some sort of crazy post-Kobe streak. So, if they play another 30 games, I mean, what's their record right now? How many games do we have left in the season?
I think they've played about.
They played about 50 games.
Yeah, it's near here. I'm pulling it up right now. Lakers are 37-11. They have a 3.5 game lead.
So they're at 48.
48.
Right? So we've got, 34 more games in the year.
Correct.
If the Lakers go, they've got 34 more games. If they go 26-8, it's pretty fucking good. It's about where they're at. Is that really some sort of inspired? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think if the Lakers were a 500 team right now, and they go, 26-8 down the stretch, people go, oh man, Kobe turned the team around. But they're playing inspired. But like, if the Lakers just keep playing like they're playing, they're in a pretty fucking good position.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know how much better could they play for it to be like they're inspired. 30-4, 31-3. What would they have to do down the stretch for it to be like, wow, that was a moment for this team? Or is it just blowing teams out? They find a new gear. I think the thing with the Lakers is, who do the Lakers add? Or do the Lakers add anybody? What change do the Lakers make? Because I think if you're a Lakers fan right now, or if you're an NBA, fan like I am, you got to look at the Lakers and go, they're leading the West, which is great, but are they the favorite in the West?
I think you still have to say the Clippers.
I mean, I think you would say the Lakers are the favorite in the West, but at the same time, not super confident saying that.
Yeah.
So, do the Lakers make a move? That to me is the bigger question for the Lakers.
Well, to me, the move would be Kuzma, right? Trading Kuzma, who's been talked about a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm off and on with him, and that's how he's been this year. He's been off and on.
If you're the Lakers right now, you think they'd rather have Brandon Ingram than Kuzma?
Here we go.
The Ruther curse.
No.
I mean, fuck, the Ruther curse. When we talk about the Brandon Ingram Ruther curse, I feel like this is truly the one instance where, you're talking about Kansas City dirtballs sending you money. Like, Brandon Ingram should be sending you money. Like, Brandon Ingram's next contract is going to be significantly bigger because of the Ruther curse. Like, this guy should throw you like a little. This guy should throw you some like,
a new couch money.
Yeah, some new couch money, or some courtside seats when New Orleans comes to town. I mean, this guy deserves. No one deserves to be feeding you off of the Ruther curse more than Brandon Ingram. You turn this guy's whole career around.
Well, I mean, look. Does he play like this if he's in L.A.? I don't know. He got traded a lot of times. New scenery helps players. We see it time and time again in all sports. Look, I don't know if he's on the Lakers, he's obviously not doing that right now because there's only one basketball, and you got Anthony Davis, and you got LeBron James, and you got players where he can be the guy.
If you're the Lakers, considering you have the Anthony Davis saying, declining to opt in already, LeBron for 3 more seasons, 2 more seasons after this, correct? It was a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
Do you try to make a move without moving Kuzma? Do you potentially cash in futures to upgrade in a win-now situation? And do you do that for in relation to Kobe? Like, do you try to say, hey, it's important that we win it this year?
I personally like the Lakers roster. I like some of the guys who come off the bench. Dwight Howard's had a great year. I'll say great year for what his role is and what he's supposed to do. I like Rajon Rondo coming off the bench. I like Alex Caruso. I think they got a nice team. I think at the end of the day for the Lakers, it's going to be about hitting shots.
Right.
Especially threes. Because they get the looks. If you watch Laker games, they're open. You just got to hit them. When we were watching that game, Nick and I watched that game, and that's what I kept saying. I was like, dude, if they're doing the things correct offensively and they're moving the ball and LeBron's driving and whatever's happening, you just got to hit the shots.
Yeah.
And when Danny Green's hitting his shots or Kyle Kuzma or whoever, when they're hitting their shots, they win.
Yeah.
That's why they put up 81 in the first half against Sacramento on Saturday night. I believe they had 13 or 14 three-pointers at halftime because they're hitting their shots, which that's what you got to do as an NBA team. And I'm excited, though. This year, again, with Golden State's dominance the last few years, it's one of the few years, Prano. I mean, if you look across the board, Milwaukee's still just cruising, 42-7. Toronto's won 11 in a row.
Yeah.
They're second in the East.
The East is going to be wild.
Yeah.
The East, and this always happened to everybody, always said the West forever. It's like the East is certainly more top-heavy right now where you can say I could see 4 different teams coming out of the East.
Yeah.
I could see the Bucks coming out of the East. I could see the Sixers coming out of the East. I could see the Celtics coming out of the East. I could see Toronto coming out of the East. I mean, you still got to say that right now the Bucks, with the best record in basketball and probably the MVP on their team, how could they not? But they didn't come out of it last year.
Yeah.
I think that there's way more question marks at the top, whereas I think in the West right now, unless Houston makes an interesting move, and there's talk of them moving Capella. Unless Houston gets really great, like I don't love the Harden Westbrook duo as much as a lot of people, and I think that as much as I love D'Antoni, I just don't think. Again, the problem is like they try to treat Mike D'Antoni. Every team that's ever been coached by Mike D'Antoni, it's this go to the pantry. I'm not sure what's in there. And make us a fucking 5-star dinner.
Yeah. That's what Nick does, by the way.
Yeah.
You see how these college kids eat, bro. They eat like savages.
Yeah. I just think talent-wise, the Lakers and the Clippers just are more talented. And, I think it's going to be those teams. So unless somebody makes a move. But it'll be interesting to see who tries to improve in the West. And just who tries to improve in general, because the NBA trade deadline does get interesting from time to time.
It's this week, right?
Yeah. They're talking about the Knicks now. Talk about the fucking cartoon that is the New York Knicks. There's now talk of the Knicks sort of mortgaging some future to get D'Angelo Russell from the Warriors. This is the most Knicks move of all time.
Yeah. I don't like that at all. It's a terrible move. I don't like, and I understand why they do it. I was thinking about that this week. I don't like how the All-Star game is so far past the midway point of the season.
I agree.
And I get
But they try, it's this NBA, NFL, Super Bowl. It's got to be after the Super Bowl.
I get it. They can't compete against the NFL.
But they also keep moving the start of the NBA season up. So it keeps becoming later and later into the season.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure. I'm not sure the I'm not sure the reasoning behind them moving the NBA up every year, except I guess they don't want it going so deep into the summer. But like, I love that the NBA is being played in May and June.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, guys, we have not used our hotline in so long, so I'm going to put out.
But we're not doing it today.
No, because
Okay.
I haven't looked. But I want to put out the call for Dirtballs to call 310-359-8365. I literally have not listened to the hotline. I bet there's some gems in there in probably 6 or 7 weeks. So if you have a call for the show, give us a ring. We'll start doing calls again on Thursday. Again, that's 310-359-8365.
I'm going to double down on that because we're now, when you get to post Super Bowl,
Yes.
this is a time of the year where we basically just have the NBA until, March Madness.
Yeah.
And even that, like that, I guess it depends on how much you care about college basketball. Baseball doesn't start till the end of March. I love only NBA time. This is a great time of year for people to get into the NBA, but it's also a great time for us to take calls on a variety of things.
You name it. It doesn't have to just be sports. You need a question answered about your girlfriend, your boyfriend, school, how to cook the worst meals ever. My buddy over here, Nick D'Alessandro, has you covered, and I've taken a lot of digs at him and his meals. Nick, is it true that you cook the worst meals ever?
I just don't see what's wrong with. I'm very simple. I'm very basic. Eggs, cheese, toast with cream cheese. I don't see what's wrong with my meals.
What's the meal that he had that you were like, what is this?
Well,
Like, what?
It was eggs and toast.
Well, hold on a second. Here's the deal. As we know, I make arguably the best egg scramble west of the Mississippi. It's pretty goddamn good scramble. And this is what I do. I do the 3 eggs. I do shrimp if I have it, turkey bacon if I have that, diced up mushrooms, spinach, 1 avocado, and some Pepita Trader Joe's salsa on top. He doesn't like that. Instead, he just goes straight eggs and cheese.
But here's what I do. I don't just do straight eggs and cheese.
Okay.
I do toast, cream cheese, and then I put the eggs with cheese, pepper, salted, perfect, in between, and I have a little egg sandwich. So, it's a little bit more interesting than just eggs with a side of toast.
Well, the other
It's a
thing,
whole meal.
the thing about the Andy Ruther Bilbo relationship that is always so fascinating to me is like you sort of dissect Nick's life, and I always have to remind you, he's a college kid.
True.
The kid's gonna sleep till fucking noon. He's probably not gonna have the eclectic tastes of an older gentleman. Like the kid doesn't eat tomatoes. Like that's kid shit.
Yeah,
He's still a kid.
Yeah, but hold on. I'm trying. Look, I'm trying.
Plays video games.
I'm trying.
Watches The Masked Singer.
Oh,
He
man,
sleeps
we
till
getting
fuck-
into the Masked Singer
Oh,
already?
God.
I'm
Sleeps
waiting
till
all
fucking
day.
noon.
Oh God, don't even get me started. He tried to get me to watch The Masked Singer.
And
last
you
night.
did.
No, not really. 10 minutes. It was terrible. And I'm not one of those people like, oh, fuck this. I thought it was so uninteresting. I had to go for a walk. I had to leave the Smut Studio and go for a walk.
Yeah, man, you missed the turtle, the llama, Missy Monster, kangaroo, the robot.
I mean, I watched it because it was on post Super Bowl, and they left the channel on. I got into it for a second, but like, not enough excitement for me in like the revealing. You only get one reveal every episode. That's weak.
It's all about the speculation.
Yeah.
So, I have my picks out except for Missy Monster. So, White Tiger. I mean, we're going Gronk here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Gronk, just based off of the height.
Yeah.
And, I've seen a lot of Gronk's touchdown celebrations.
Yeah.
I was seeing a lot of dance moves up there.
Somebody else brought up,
Gronk-esque.
one of them said Gronk, and I was like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's Gronk. Turtle, I'm actually going to go Lance Bass, your boy, because a little boy band vibes, kind of. A lot of the clues hinted boy band.
The clues for me led me to somebody in New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
I'm going Joy Mac.
Ooh.
I like this idea.
By the way, I'm never going to watch a second episode of this, so you just have to tell me how it ends up.
Well, I will be the exclusive Masked Singer reporter. Well,
Cool. We're never going to talk about it again.
We also have to talk. Now we're on the food thing. We also have to talk about a real interesting Andy Ruther food move that I've noticed. You make a lot of things with shrimp, but you exclusively use shrimp cocktail. Like, you don't get uncooked shrimp.
Well, okay, that's a good point.
You get shrimp cocktail, and then you cook the shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, but here's what I do. I get
You take shrimp cocktail, you put it on the grill.
yeah.
You take shrimp cocktail, you put it in your eggs.
I do.
Why don't you get uncooked shrimp? Cook it yourself. You can marinate it.
Well, I like your idea. I also like to get from Costco. They have flavored already cooked shrimp too,
Right.
with cilantro and garlic, and I do that sometimes.
So pre-cooked. And that's not shrimp cocktail.
No,
That's pre-cooked shrimp.
it's pre-cooked shrimp with
Or it's pre-marinated shrimp.
it's pre-marinated.
Right.
I'll do that a lot.
Yeah. Because I've noticed you take the pre-cooked cocktail shrimp
Yeah,
and then you continue to cook it.
it's a fair assessment.
And that tends to be you get a smaller shrimp after the cooking process.
Much smaller.
I think you need to start
Okay.
looking into some uncooked. I mean, it can be cleaned. You don't need to have the tails on and shit. You get some uncooked raw shrimp.
Okay.
Marinate it. Put it in some, put some spices on it, some lemon on it, or even, you could do, because you like to grill.
I love to grill.
Put some shrimp in some barbecue sauce,
I like
whatever.
it.
Throw it in a bowl, marinate it.
I like it.
I was telling Colleen that. I was like, Andy Ruther loves the shrimp, but he's got some weird thing where he only purchases shrimp cocktail,
Okay.
and then he's eating the shrimp cocktail as cocktail and also putting it on the grill at the same time. I was like, this is a major blind spot in the Ruther culinary
No, I agree.
experience.
I agree because I want to learn how to cook shrimp better because obviously I'd like to do the weekly Dirty Sports family meal. We did one last week. It's good to get you out. Obviously,
Yeah.
You're stuck inside a lot with your leg situation, so maybe I'll upgrade that this week for the Dirty Sports family meal. And I got some good steaks though. If we want to do the Dirty Sports family meal, a little steaks this week. It's that time of year. We're talking about food. We're talking about Masked Singer. Leave a call, guys.
Also, if you want to tune in live on YouTube, like I always say, you can always go to the comment section. Nick, you've been monitoring the chat. Any exciting comments, questions, or queries from our chat today?
I'm a little disappointed with the interaction in the comment section. Little light today.
Post Super Bowl hangover, very normal.
A little bit. We do have a decent amount of people in the chat right now. People want to know, is Belichick ecstatic that Jimmy G lost the Super Bowl?
I don't know. To me, again, I think Belichick wanted Jimmy G.
Yeah, I don't think he's ecstatic.
Yeah, and something that I was thinking as I drove up here. I wonder if all the people that I battle with on the internet in regards to where certain players are all time, the Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, the rest in peace Kobe Bryant's versus other all-time greats. I wonder if some of those guys who are anti-LeBroners right now are still saying Patrick Mahomes played great and Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl MVP. But when you look at it, Jimmy G, 2 rings. Patrick Mahomes just one. Jimmy G, 2 rings.
Does Jimmy
guys.
G have 2?
Double the amount of rings as Patrick Mahomes. That's what the Jordan slurpers are saying right now. Right, guys? If you're a Jordan slurper out there, it's got to be Jimmy G, 2. Call me when you have a second one, Pat Mahomes.
Does Jimmy G have 2?
Yeah.
He won 2 as a backup.
Yeah. 2-time Super Bowl champion. Call me when you get to 2, Pat Mahomes.
I smell a meme, Joe. I smell a meme.
Yeah?
I smell a Dirty Sports meme. I like that.
No, I think Belichick wanted Jimmy G. I think if you look at the game Jimmy G had, I think, again, I said this when Tug was on the show a couple weeks ago, I think both of these teams, the Niners and the Patriots, currently better off if Belichick had gotten to do the deal that Belichick wanted to do, which is send Brady to the Niners, keep Jimmy Garoppolo. The Patriots got one more Super Bowl since then, but I think, and as we said, only the Patriots are a team that can look at winning multiple Super Bowls as a game plan. Jimmy G in the system. Jimmy G plays well in relief of Tom Brady during the suspension. Jimmy G, in my opinion, the ability to play within the Patriots system, the way Tom Brady did, give or take, you know? And also, I think if you look at this Niners team, does this Niners team win that Super Bowl if they have Tom Brady?
Interesting scenario.
And that's the deal that both teams wanted to do. The Niners supposedly called about Brady. Belichick open to the idea, only Kraft and Brady not interested.
Yeah. Well, fascinating stuff. And that is the episode. Much love to everybody who listens. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, at The Dirty Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Drop that iTunes review, and you will get 2 free koozies in the mail. Just leave your IG or Twitter handle. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Yes, follow me, at Andy Ruther. It'll make my day. Follow Joe. Come on, guys, do it.
At Joe Prano on Instagram, at Fix Your Life on Twitter, JoePrano.com for shows.
Nick, where can they play you against Madden?
Bilbo, what was by the way, what was the over-under on Jackson Mahomes' TikTok?
Jackson Mahomes actually, at the very last second, in a 24-hour span, hit the over at 6 TikToks last night. So I went with the under. Screwed me. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel on Dirty Sports, guys. We're pumping out content over there. Obviously, Andy Goes to Costco, weekly segment. And then we're doing a couple facts onlys. We have the content calendar. Just go over there on the YouTube. You're already here right now if you're live. But if you're listening on the podcast, just go to the YouTube, put on the post noties, and yeah, that's all I really ask for today.
Yeah, here's how it's going to work. We're going to have a new Costco video out every Sunday, a new facts only starting this Friday, every Friday. All right, guys, that is the show. Much love for all the support. And again, call the hotline. Give us any calls, questions. We will answer them. Have a great week, Dirtballs. And most importantly, stay dirty.